Good morning and welcome to your Eastern Idaho planning briefing for Sunday, August 16th, 2020. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith, again here from the National Weather Service office in Pocatello. What are we expecting for the next 7 days or so? Main story is the heat. Long duration heat wave is really going to kick in starting today across southeast Idaho. Hottest readings again expected today, Monday and Tuesday, with high temperatures topping out 94 to 102 degrees for most lower elevation areas across southeast Idaho. But it's not quite going to end there. From Wednesday and beyond, possibly right out through the next week to 2 weeks. High temperatures at most lower elevation areas across southeast Idaho exceeding 90 degrees. So this will be a rather long duration heat event. Again, our confidence remains high in this heat wave impacting the region. Now, monsoon moisture will also be an issue or a consideration to the forecast here. We're going to see a southerly flow pulling that monsoonal moisture northward across southeast Idaho, and we're going to see that gradually increase as we go day by day by day through the upcoming week. That may bring some isolated to scattered thunderstorms to the region. Lightning and gusty winds are expected to be our main impacts there. Of course, lightning, not a good thing for our fire weather conditions. And speaking of fire weather, we're going to be watching to see if we do get to scattered thunderstorm coverage, particularly as that moisture increases further on Tuesday and Wednesday. That could be a trigger for a red flag warning for our fire partners. Again, Tuesday and Wednesday being the time frame of concern. So hot and dry is still generally going to be the story here. No major pattern change on the horizon, but we're not expecting much in the way of wind over the next 7 days. So that's not expected to be an issue as a trigger for red flag conditions. Taking a look at the satellite view this morning, again, not much to see really here, but we do have this high pressure center that has become established down here over southern Utah and northern Arizona. And remember, we have a clockwise regional wind flow around this high, so we see a nice southerly flow developing right into the western United States. And you can see here with my cursor starting to see a little bit of that moisture being pulled northward in that flow as well. So it's bringing the hot temperatures, also trying to pull some of that southwest monsoon moisture northward toward our area. And again, that'll increase day by day as we go forward. Colorful map continues this morning for our watches, warnings, and advisories, and again, all heat-related. Orange shading here, we have heat advisories in effect, and then for a couple areas here, the Treasure Valley, Mountain Home, Boise areas, and also down here into portions of Utah, an excessive heat warning is in effect. That's a higher level of alert to the heat advisory. It's where some of the hottest temperatures are expected. So all of these alerts kick in this afternoon, again, Sunday afternoon, and they continue through at least Tuesday evening across the region. Before we advance to our what we call the matrix, where we break things down and color code them by region, I threw this map up here again so you can find where you're located. For the purposes of this briefing, we've kind of divided everyone up into zones here across our forecast area. We're still looking at making this map available at some point online as a reference for those of you who watch our briefing on a day-to-day basis. And we'll advance to the matrix. All of the color coding here is heat related. Areas where we're expecting the warmest readings and we have that heat advisory in effect are in orange. And then other heat impacts affecting just about the whole region here in yellow. And you can see we start to mix a few of those isolated to scattered thunderstorms into the forecast as we advance over the next 5 days. Again, mostly in the mountains. You'll notice for the Snake Plain, the Magic Valley, the South Hills, really not expecting much in the way of activity. We can't completely rule out a rogue thunderstorm sneaking out of the mountains down into the plain. It's not completely out of the question during the afternoon periods, but again, for the most part, those thunderstorms are really going to develop and generally stay over our mountain regions across southeast Idaho. So going day by day here, I've set this up with two images. On the left, this is our high temperature forecast for the day, and on the right, for our fire partners, we'll take a look at the minimum humidity values during the afternoon each day and kind of track how our moisture is doing. So we'll kick it off today. You can see a notable increase in the temperatures over what we've seen over the past couple days, generally getting into the 90s just about everywhere, and you'll see temperatures getting into the upper 90s to near 100 this afternoon across the Magic Valley into the lower Snake Plain, the Raft River region, and some of the other valleys down here across southern Idaho. And continued very dry. We're not seeing a lot of monsoon moisture make it up here today. Generally, humidity readings dropping below 15%. That's our critical fire weather threshold. Almost all areas across southeast Idaho. And again, we might see an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon up here in the central mountains. I think that's the only area we really have concern today. Continue dry elsewhere until we get more moisture into the region. Advancing here to Monday, hottest temperatures of the whole period still expected for Monday. So we'll start out with those. 92 for Driggs, 90 all the way up here to Island Park, approaching 100 for Salmon and Chalice on Monday. And you can see those hottest readings advancing here across the Magic Valley into the lower Snake Plain, just about all the Snake Plain, and our valleys across the south. Widespread readings at or above 100 degrees expected on Monday afternoon. Probably going to break a lot of record high temperatures here, and you can see continued very dry conditions with just about everyone getting down to 15% or lower for those afternoon RH values, humidity values. Again, chance of a thunderstorm, generally isolated, particularly across the central mountains on Monday, extending perhaps up here into the upper Snake Highlands along the Montana border. Continued dry for the rest of the region on Monday. I want to toss this graphic in here too for Tuesday morning. These are our low temperatures, which again, as you know, generally occur late at night towards sunrise during the early morning hours. And a couple things we think about with these heat waves. One is the duration. So heat-related stress on the human body is a very cumulative thing. So the longer we have excessive heat in place across the region, the more we see an increase in health-related concerns related to that heat. And another thing we look at is how are our temperatures going to do at night? Are we going to be able to cool down and recover during those cooler overnight periods? It has a huge impact on the human body. You can see for most of the region, we're not terrible. We have a lot of lower 60s in here, even some upper 50s for low temperatures as you get into the upper Snake and Teton Valley, Swan Valley area. But as you head down here toward the eastern Magic Valley, the Raft River region, and some of the adjacent valleys, it's not that great a recovery during the overnight. Again, we only see these low temperatures for an hour or two right near sunrise, so most of the night we're a little warmer than this. We may not be able to drop below 70 down here in the Oakley area. Not much better here at Twin Falls. Even for American Falls and Pocatello, not the best recovery during the overnight as we get toward Tuesday morning. So another thing that we'll keep a close eye on, and if we do see a trend toward more cloud cover, which will keep our temperatures a little warmer, or we just see the temperature forecast increase and we're not seeing that overnight recovery, may be a trigger for us to consider upgrading from an advisory to an excessive heat warning, particularly for the eastern Magic Valley. So we'll keep an eye on that. Going into Tuesday, we lose a couple degrees on the temperature, but you can see we're still approaching 100 degrees across large portions of the eastern Magic Valley, lower Snake Plains, southern valleys. RH values during the afternoon starting to improve just a bit. We see a better push of that monsoonal moisture northward by the time we get to Tuesday, Wednesday. So you can see these values generally above 15% now. And again, Tuesday we'll watch for better coverage of maybe some scattered coverage of thunderstorms across our mountain regions during the afternoon and evening hours. Wednesday, we lose even a couple more degrees, still generally topping out in the 90s, 96 for Pocatello, 95 for Twin Falls, a little cooler, 88 for Stanley, 84 for Island Park. A little bit better yet on our afternoon RH values. Not a crazy drastic improvement to our hot, dry pattern, but enough moisture in the area that it will take the edge off. And again, watching for potentially isolated to scattered thunderstorm coverage, focused again on our mountain areas on Wednesday. And finally for Thursday, very similar picture with temperatures in the 90s, generally above 15% on those RHs, and another round of some isolated to perhaps scattered thunderstorms focused over our mountain areas on Thursday. So we're going to continue to push that heat safety messaging. That's our main concern for the weather over the next few days. We showed you this graphic yesterday. This is available on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Also want to remind you about pets and children in cars. Huge concern during these types of heat waves. Animals can die of heat stroke within 15 minutes when left in a hot car. Cracking the windows does not help that situation at all. The car heats up very fast. This is true for children as well. So please make sure you're checking for anyone who may be in your vehicle if you're out and about over the next few days during the heat. And we'll continue to push this safety messaging on our social media over the next few days. Again, we'll end with a summary slide here of what we just talked about. Heat wave, the main concern, with some of that increasing monsoon moisture and a few thunderstorms in the mountains as we head through the week. If you have any questions or comments for us, please reach out with the information here on your screen. Have a great Sunday.